I add more things to the pot. And we only have a 2,000 square foot space, and my people are theater people. But eventually, I hope it grows so much that we can encompass not just performing artists, but all kinds of arts.
What was the space before you guys bought it?
Or rented it.
Or rented it, I should say.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It was a piano factory. Yeah. It's gorgeous. I wish we could video chat or FaceTime because it's got some good juju, as I like to say. Yeah, it was a piano factory. We're on the 3rd floor. And actually 52nd Street, where we're at, 52nd between 10th and 11th, has just been commissioned to be a cultural arts block.
Oh, cool.
So there are a couple other arts organizations, specifically theater. So Ensemble Studio Theater's here, Intar, which is a Hispanic theater company, Medicine Show, and then actually in the building next to us, they make all the props for Broadway.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yeah. But eventually in 2018, this is the sad part. This is temporary, and we're on a month-to-month lease, so at any moment, I'm still friends with the landlord. He's a young guy. I get my flirt on, I try and work it. But at the end of the day, in 2018, they're demolishing this building, the piano factory, and turning it into low-income housing.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's
Wow.
temporary.
Yeah.
And sad.
See if maybe they, you can rent it out of the basement. They can still live there. You'll just have rooms. Yeah, it'll be right there in the bottom, and they'll be like, oh, it's the storefront sort of situation. No one will ever think, oh, who lives in this place? They have to take an elevator up to the 2nd floor. I'm telling you.
Well,
real estate agents love me.
Just a bunch of loud creatives down in the basement.
No
You'll lend
problem.
them.
Yeah.
Nobody minds that. What's going to happen?
Well, I have a friend who currently is doing like prop work in New York, and he's got like a 500 square foot apartment, and he's actually like running a circular saw and all sorts of other tools at like 9:05. He's like, everybody's gone. Wow. So it might be pretty nice to have a nice little space like yours. Eventually to have people who are doing props and set design as well. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you're right though, as far as like when you're starting to develop it first with the performers, and then they'll fill up the space with all their projects, and then all of a sudden they'll be building their projects and realize like, oh, but wait, how are we ever going to do this one show without this one really important prop? Where will that guy make it? And then all of a sudden they're like, come on in, guy, and then that guy tells his other prop guy friends.
And that guy tells his 2 friends and his 2 friends.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a pyramid scheme of wonderfulness.
So tell us about your pyramid scheme.
It's all a bit of a pyramid scheme, isn't it? I mean...
it's all about who you know at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everything is for sure. We, the 3 of us here, we all do theater, live theater, at an improv theater called The New Movement. And and the cool thing about that space is it started out as like a single room storefront and then got bigger, and now we rent the basement of a Mason building. So like I don't know how much you know about the Masons, but their buildings are official. They're officially like historical buildings, so they can rent to whoever they want. Cool. And there's a lot of like leeway to it because their building belongs to them, and the city like can't really do anything for them, to them rather. And so like we rent. At first we just rented like sort of the front area, and we built a theater, and there was one classroom. And then the second half of the basement opened up, and now we have 6 classrooms and like a prop room. And after we were in there for a little bit, a guy that we know who's a sound engineer just put a recording studio like booth into one of the rooms as well. So
that's awesome.
The theater itself has been around for, let's see, 2009, should I carry the 2? No. I'm going to say it's been around for about 8 years now. So sometimes it takes a little while to grow, but it will. And then the community around you will will be so excited that they need that space. Sometimes I think about like what we would do if we didn't have those 6 rooms now. We have so many things going on, so many shows and different stuff that if like we didn't have the 6 rooms, we couldn't get anything done at all. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is it a for-profit or a non-profit?
It's a for-profit.
For-profit.
Well, they make a profit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the business of I was like, I don't know if they totally do, but the bills are all paid, so that's good.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
But yeah, they teach classes. So like we do improv and sketch comedy, and they teach classes. And by they, I mean like I am a teacher there. I get paid, so I guess that's sort of for profit. I get profit sometimes. I was like, I get profit on shows sometimes too. So like, there's different things. There's like rev shares on shows. We do shows 7 nights a week, and then there are classes pretty much, I would say at least 5 or 6 nights a week, and everybody gets paid. I mean, the teachers get paid, and then the regular recurring shows who arrange it get like a revenue share of the door. One-off shows don't usually. It sort of goes to the theater. But Austin is more, I don't know, Austin's more of a town where the theater's running for profit, or it's kind of the way the business works. There's a lot of business in performance around here. There's a lot of music and stand-up, and so there are 5 improv theaters just within the small city of Austin. And I think every single one of them are for profit.
Patrick and I are nonprofit.
Yes, right.
You don't make
We're definitely,
profit.
we're doing it for the fun.
Yeah, but it'll take a little while. I'm a little bit older than you guys. I've only just started to get some profit.
Well, so, yeah, I mean, nonprofits, though, can be quite profitable for the...
But why do we... This is like a stigma, though, that we think that the arts, like the people who are performing shouldn't get paid for what they're doing.
Oh,
and
you're right.
It goes along with the artist co-op and this idea that fuck that. Like, you're putting time and energy, and just because you're an artist, you don't get paid. Like, you should.
Oh,
yeah.
I very much, before I started doing improv, I read up on improv and was like, this is ridiculous. People are performing and not getting paid. And then cut to me performing for free for several years now.
Yeah.
To be fair, I do get a Diet Dr. Pepper each show. So.
You're the reason Diet Dr. Pepper flies out of that fridge.
There is a sign that says 1 per show. I'm taking that Diet Dr. Pepper. Do I have to report that to the IRS? Oh, man.
Oh, Alex doesn't listen to this podcast. You're fine. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I wish that everyone could get money. I think, unfortunately, like, a lot of times the theaters themselves kind of, like, run it so that they can keep the doors open. Because, I mean, I know I used to be part of the management at the theater, and it's like, we're just paying the bills. You know what I mean? Like, we're not making enough money for there to be money for everybody. But again, like I said, I produce a show monthly, and I get paid for that. So, little bits here and there. I wish that there was more, but it's hard to convince people to pay a lot of money to see shows, unfortunately, especially in a town like Austin where it's kind of very saturated. There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
There's just so much to do.
Yeah, and improv is I don't know, people have real high expectations for what they should pay for, too. And so when, like, we had a show that was, I don't know, eight students and then 2 paying people the other night.
Yeah.
And
students don't pay for shows, by the way.
Yeah.
If you take classes at the place, you can see all the shows you want for free.
And the 2 individuals that were watching left partway through the other performer's set, and then we're like, where are the professional shows around here?
Ooh.
No, they asked that?
Yeah, and it was like, good times.
That's a
and then,
darn
like,
game.
we've got a show it packs the house every Monday night. Packs the house. Like, they add seats in to get more people in there, but it's a pay what you want. And so our top bill shows, unfortunately, sometimes that are paid don't do that, and it's just because people don't want to pay for improv for some reason.
Well, they don't want to pay for a lot of things.
Yeah,
I mean,
but,
you know, I have to beg to get people to our show, and it's a sketch show. It's like we wrote that show.
Do you pay for Netflix?
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's account.
Yeah, well, it's also not union here too.
Oh yeah,
that's another thing. Like when if you're doing plays in New York, there's a certain union level that you can be part of. I know there's a lot of non-union. Believe me, that's all I did.
Yeah,
my I did a play in front of 6 people on Canal Street. That was non-union
in
for
New
sure.
York. Ooh.
Yes, that's right. But call back. But as far as like most I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in New York where it's union, so there's like a required amount of being paid. I have an agent for film and commercials, and he doesn't let me do gigs unless I get paid a certain amount.
Yeah.
So that's helpful.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Having an advocate.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is weird, though, the idea of the artist being somebody who should just do it for the love of doing it.
Right.
Yeah, it's real hard, too, when I'm not sure anyone would pay me to do this, Like, at the level I am currently. So, like, part of me always thinks, like, well, technically I'm getting a spot at a downtown theater, in front of X number of people, so...
Yeah, but, like, do the performers at UCB in New York City get paid? I don't think they do.
No, yeah, but that's kind of, like, that's kind of the point, like... It's pitched as like it's not the end all. It's you're getting something to get somewhere.
Sure.
Which is a different, I think, for what we do.
Yeah.
But
I usually sell it like it's like you're part of a community now, so now you get to get stuff for free. Like when you want to use the theater space to rehearse, you don't have to pay for it.
Right.
You don't have to pay for any of your rehearsal time. I mean, I could be there 6 nights a week doing different projects and working on stuff, and I don't pay a dime to be in that space.
I am there 6 nights a week.
All the Diet Dr. Pepper.
One per show, man. One per show.
Well, if you do 4 shows a day, that's probably all the Diet Dr. Pepper you want.
That's more than anyone should ever have.
So with your space that you're working on, have you been thinking about using that to kind of help with not only the networking of making things, but actually getting that product out there? Is that something that kind of even looking at in different ways, or because different people have different
like
social...
being more producers-esque?
I mean that may fall into it, but also like there are different social circles that people fall into that may end up helping other artists get more views and people coming to their shows because they may not be able to reach a certain audience or whatnot because of financial constraints to the actual productions or whatnot.
I see that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes back to helping publicize numbers, productions, and getting the word out. And I think there's a sense of accountability that happens when you're in a community. It's like, well, I went and saw your show, you should come see my show.
Right.
And once you expand your network of people, you have more who have to come see your show because you saw some theirs. And then on the other side, I mean, when you were talking, I was thinking how this another reason for this to be is that I'm hoping that the Artist Co-op is a place where you feel like a working artist. Mm-hmm. That it's not like it's a place where you can go when you say I have access to a theater and a rehearsal space every day. We need a place where we can clock in and clock out and just feel like, oh, this is my space, a space that I can breathe into and like, yeah. I don't think a lot of those exist in New York unless you go to like NYU or pay for an acting school. I think it's cool to like validate yourself as an artist. And say I'm good enough. I deserve to be at this space.
Yeah. I've had some friends who were they're just kind of contractors for different tech stuff, and so that's exactly what they've kind of needed is to kind of rent office spaces with other people, and especially in larger cities where they can go and they know when they get there that it's time to do that work, and especially with creative things, it can be hard for me when I'm at home to continue to work on creative things when there's so many other things around me. And so if I have a place to go, like when I go
Right.
to the theater here, it's like that's what I have to do.